Welcome to Successful Toy Podcast, where we shine a light on the positive side of every journey. Our platform is dedicated to celebrating the success stories and unique experience of people from all walks of life, regardless of their fame or background. Whether you're a well-known figure or just starting out, the Successful Toy Podcast is here to share your story and inspire other listeners with your achievements and insights. Join us as we explore a diverse range of topics and uplift voices that deserve to be heard. Everyone has a story to tell, and we're here to listen. Hey y'all, hey, so we back with a part 2, and this time we're just focusing on healing your inner child. Okay, now go ahead, let people know about you. Those who didn't know, or if they fucking forgot who you was, let them know.
Hi, I'm Alicia Farriciell. I am located in the Tampa Bay area, but I work with clients worldwide, and I help them to heal their inner child. So we take a deep dive into looking at your wounds and how it's affecting your current life, what things that are going on right now. So I work with people do that, how to tap into your intuition. I do breath work and meditation with my clients as well. I do have my own podcast. You can find more information out with that, the Intuitive Religion podcast, and I do courses and coaching. Yeah.
And this is the podcast, the girl who I just was telling you about backstage. I was like, she was saying she was gonna miss it, so I guess she could catch a little bit.
Okay.
She said, "Hey, Alicia, I cannot wait to have a conversation with you in the future."
Yes, I'm excited.
She's like checking in before my recording started. That's why I told her you weren't gonna be able to watch us. So, yeah. So let's get into it. You ready? Because I'm excited.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. How can understanding inner child wounds help us navigate adult relationships?
Oh, wow. Okay. This is such a great one. So imagine having a relationship with a 3 or 4-year-old. And so when you have those relationships with your 3 or 4-year-old, you have different emotions. You have different things coming up inside of you, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, imagine you're having a relationship. Say we'll give for an instance, a relationship issue you have is you can't stay in a committed relationship. Maybe there's something that happened in your childhood. Somebody said something to you, or something traumatic, big or small trauma happened to you, and you have this fear of getting close to someone else because of something that happened. For instance, maybe you had a large trauma, like some type of abusive situation happened to you, or maybe it was something small, such as somebody said something that just really criticized you and made you feel really small about yourself, or said, or maybe you're a teenager, like you're a flaky person. You'll never amount to anything because you can't keep your mind, stay with one thing. So you're like, well, I'm always going to be that way. Maybe you grew up and didn't have the thing you saw your friends had more things than you had, like physical, materialistic things. And so you're like, well, the grass is always greener on the other side. So I'm just going to hold off until I get something better and better and better and better. And so you're striving more and more and more for that. Mm-hmm. So those are things that can happen, that can affect, for instance, that can affect relationships with you don't have it, a healed inner child. It can come through the forms of not being able to get close to anyone. You don't open up. You're not your vulnerable self. It could be the fact that you date men or women that are not aligned up with who you truly want to be. Any of those things can happen. And you can even have being in a healthy relationship and still have some inner child issues that are causing, if you constantly have a conflict in your relationship. Maybe it's not your inner child that's not being healed. Maybe it's your partner's that needs some work too. And maybe you need to work together on that. So that's just a couple examples of how that can show up in your relationships as, romantic relationships. It can show up in friendships. It can show up in, relationships with family members. It can show up with relationship with coworkers. You have this very authoritative boss that doesn't listen to anything. Well, maybe they had some childhood issues, some childhood trauma going on, some inner child things that they need to feel important and big and special. And they, just won't listen to anyone else's opinion. So
what?
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I'll let you finish. What do you think about the people that, because I once was this person, no matter who I met, I always opened up to them. Like I told them so much of my business because I don't know, like, what do you think that reason was? I'm talking about it don't matter who I come across, if even if they was faking to be my friend, like I was very vulnerable to people to where I just laid all my business out to them.
So
Like,
there's
why
a
do you think that?
so there's a fine line. Like we want to be vulnerable with people and we want to be open with people, but we don't want to throw up our entire lives with them. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're kind of would you feel like throwing up your entire lives that telling them it could, and I don't like honestly I don't know your past or anything like that. It could be something as easy as you were looking for attention as a child, and that any type of attention that comes up, that's something that you're feeding off of, and that wanted and
Okay.
needed. Maybe that's part of your person. It could be part of your personality too. That you could be overly
Mm-hmm.
trusting. Maybe you grew up in a situation
Mm-hmm.
where you had absolutely nothing that kind of taught you how the society and world works. Maybe you were sheltered as a child. And so when you get out to the world, you're
Yep.
kind of like, whoa, okay, well, I can trust everyone and anything for any purpose. And so those are two
Mm-hmm.
extremes, but that could be a part of what's going on with that.
Yeah, but I learned my lesson. I ain't like that no more. Ever since I started therapy though. Ever since I started
Yeah.
therapy. But I always wondered because like I said from the last episode, the first episode, like you showed me and woke my eyes up about inner child because I didn't know anything about that. So it's like how can I like grow from something that I don't know about. So I'm like, I wonder if like what was the problem with me because I used to have those problems, but when so many people don't cross me to it's like, okay, now I got to be reserved. You can't just hand all your business over to people because when you tell these people things, when y'all fall out or y'all break up, they use it against you. So I learned my lesson from that.
Yeah, you have to be very protective of who you share with, but you also have to be your authentic
Mm-hmm.
self. And so again, that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
a fine line. You have to show up and be authentic. You have to be vulnerable with people in order
Yeah.
for the connections. The connections really lie in the authenticity and the vulnerability that we have with us. However, there
Mm-hmm.
are people out there that have not healed their own inner child that will use those things against you. But you have to be a strong enough
Mm-hmm.
person to know that no matter what, that's completely on them. Unfortunately, they've revealed things that was confidential. So it's a trust issue going both ways.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to trust that person, but then you also have to kind of take some chances too, because in order to get close to people, you have to open up to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are some common signs that our inner child is affecting our relationship? Is that no? I can say, does that sound like something I had already said? But no, it was a different. It was like understanding. So this was like, what are some common signs that our inner child is affecting our relationships? But I think you kind of spoke on that already, right?
Yeah, a little bit on that. So some additional signs are, for instance, if you can't hold a relationship down, if someone is always leaving you, because they're say from drama or from conflict. If you're always nitpicking at, like we have, as women, we're told not to be nitpicking. Well, sometimes that's
Mm-hmm.
because and I'll say that because sometimes that's because our inner child is because we're in control. We're trying to control. If you're trying to control a relationship and not letting it flow together, then a lot of times that could be an inner child issue. If you're
Okay.
picking partners who are not compatible with you and you're going through the same steps, repeating the same patterns, could be some inner child things that you want to work on. If you're avoidant and really refusing just to completely want to be single forever, but it's not out of a that's just my choice in life, it's out of out of a fear, then that's definitely could be some inner child things going on with. Yeah.
Mm. I need a lot of healing because you
We
just
all
described me. You just described me, girl. That used to be me. I know how to
we all
pick them now, girl. I ain't used to know how to pick shit. How can meditation help healing for the inner child?
Yes. So I think we talked about this a little bit last time. When you get into meditation, you are getting into your subconscious. When you get into a deep meditation. So I tell my students, one way, a lot of people say, I don't know, they don't know how to meditate. I call that BS because if I was able to meditate as an ADHD like spastic person and I learned to meditate and to calm my mind down, anyone can do that. You can take a candle and you look at the candle and the flame, like a little candle. You light the candle, you don't look directly at the flame, you kind of gaze above it and stare at that flame for about 5 minutes. I say 5 minutes the first time, and then close your eyes. And after you close your eyes, notice until the flame starts to go away. And then if you believe in like divine intervention, like spirit, guide, gods, or even prayer, divinity, call that in and start speaking. If not, just close your mind out and start listening to what comes in. If your mind wanders, go back to your breath, taking in deep breaths in and out. Our minds wander. So we get so confused as far as, well, we're supposed to be just guru that just sits there and our minds are go blank. It doesn't. We have minds. They're all monkey minds. We think. That's what they're for. You just think the thought and you say, thank you, thought. I will get back to you when I'm finished with this meditation. Because if you try to block it out, and you don't give it the credit is deserving or the answer, like the acknowledgement, it's going to keep popping back in. For instance, if you're meditating, you're like, oh, I forgot to load the dishwasher. Thank you for reminding me, mind. I will get to that when I'm finished. And then go back to your breath. Or you can always open your eyes and start back on that, like softly gazing at the candle. Starting to do that. And then when you start questioning, asking your mind questions like, how am I feeling right now? I'm feeling a little, disturbed, distraught. Why am I feeling that way? Because this happened. Well, why do I think this happened? Well, it's because, and start listening to more your subconscious, like what the first things that starts popping in. And don't judge yourself or judge anything that comes up. It's just your subconscious coming up on it. So that helps. And then I, again, kind of like to talk about next time is just in sitting and journaling after that and just free flowing. Sometimes, you can like use the other hand to journal with. That your subconscious is coming out through that. Tips like that. There's all kinds of meditations on YouTube, different websites. I think my website, I don't know if I have one specifically for this one, but you can find these as for inner child meditations. They're all over YouTube and Spotify. Just Google those and go through some guided meditations. We'll start to release some of this stuff. I'm working on an energetic spot course too. Working on your sacral and your solar plexus will help a lot. But you really want in your root because you want to stay grounded in this. So kind of doing some chakra cleansing will definitely help with your inner child.
The crazy part about it, when you were saying people saying they don't know how to meditate, I was one of those people. But how you just broke it down, it's like, okay, because I've tried it before and I just thought that you're just supposed to concentrate and really not think about anything. But I was that person, like I'm doing it, but yet stuff coming to my mind and I'm like, I can't even focus. I can't even concentrate. But you just explained to me when it's coming to my mind, it's reminding me of the things. And I just supposed to say, okay, I'm gonna get back to, but me, I'd be like, man, I'm thinking about too much stuff, and that's not what I'm supposed to be thinking about the whole time. It is what I'm supposed to be thinking about.
Start with like a minute or two. We're going to go to this meditation do for like 30 minutes to an hour. It's very hard to sit still for 30 minutes to an hour. If it's not a guided meditation, when you get into the zone, I call them like bio beats or, a certain meditative music that takes your mind into a certain, like your certain conscious zone. That works so great. Just sit there and listen to the music and feel the music. There's so many different types of meditation. It's not just where you sit there and you clear your mind out. That's great. Most people are not trained enough to do that. And it's a training. It's literally practicing every single day and going through. Start for a couple minutes and then give yourself a high five. Say, hey, I meditated. Even if it doesn't have to be perfect. Any little bit is benefiting you.
So let's get into the comments before we go on a break. Verity said, yep, shame and suppression will consume you and block your progress.
Yep.
Darian said, it all begins and ends in you. Yes, ma'am. The Blemishing podcast said, yeah, when my mind wanders, I get discouraged. So this definitely helped me. Right. Like I be thinking I ain't focusing.
Yeah, just keep trying.
Shit, beauty. podcast said this is definitely loud when I'm trying to go to sleep. My mind wanders, so I will try to do this before bed. Yeah, I'm gonna find me some stuff on YouTube to just listen to, like she said, something for
Yoga Nidra is really
healing
good
and
too for
child.
bed. Yeah, will start to slow
Okay.
your mind and put you into a different state of mind.
You got to email me that so I can know what it is. Tamika Moon said, love this, great info and directions. Thank you. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back to y'all. Tune into this music. Meditate on this music while we're on a quick break. She said we can meditate to anything. So meditate on this music. And I have some questions when we come back. Let's get into it.
What the fuck going on? Just stepping through that shit. I'm in the city, they bunt this.
Cable B.
Let's go. When I'm in the city, they bunt it. So my bitch, she bad it, but she ain't no getter hoe. Go ahead, try me, gon' die if I let it go. Stay with that purpley shit that you looking for. Yeah, I got the cross in the sport mode. Pull up and beat the boy ass, I don't need a pole. I lay him down where the gutter go. I put the chop on his head, he don't need a fro. She on the knees, any money mode. Be homie, got it, no need for a little bro. See the bullshit from a mile, wait till it's go. Hit after hit like I had a scope. Y'all little boys out some kids on the fuck pole. Red dead so like an envelope. Finna come back in the spits mode. Fuck the bro, come man, they stick by the pussy code. Feet around clip, shoot out one at Debo. Everywhere I walk, stay with a ski-o. Head every day to my chemo. GP light in my wrist, same color as Cheeto. Try play me stupid, stand ground like a free throw. High off the pin, but I still want some WeHo. New Smith, the West, the Green Beam, I ain't talking about Gino. Talk a whole lot, what do he know? SC baby, yeah, shout out to Bino. We lit in my granny, roll weed off piano. Fuck all that talking, man, we finna get it, bro. You hear me spitting my shit, I ain't talk slow. I got the fries and the gas for the extra low. Better come scooping, cause this shit here come and go. KP the shark in the water, he don't like the flow. Yeah, I'm the GOAT, and that's all she wrote. When I'm in the city, they bunt it. So my bitch, she bad it, but she ain't no getter hoe. Go ahead, try me, gon' die if I let it go. Stay with that purpley shit that you looking for. Yeah, I got the cross in the sport mode. Pull up and beat the boy ass, I don't need a pole. I lay him down where the gutter go. I put the chop on his head, he don't need a fro. She on the knees, any money mode. Be homie, got it, no need for a little bro. See the bullshit from a mile, wait till it's go. Hit after hit like I had a scope. Y'all little boys out some kids on the fuck pole. Red dead so like an envelope. Finna come back in the spits mode. Fuck the bro, come man, they stick by the pussy code. Exquisite, don't pop out the tie eye. You can catch me on the east side of sunrise. I ride the shit, put the scale like I'm Popeye. If I do the math of that up by the 4-5. How much you make it, don't know, just a whole lot. Just know you can't touch the shit or you gon' die. Bro try to front me and pack him like hell nah. He said, K-Bill boy, you trippin', no nah nah. Oh nah nah. Stack up the bread, out the burger from Five Guy. I told my brother go air it out, skydive. Fuck up the beat and I ain't tryna apologize. I'm the one you probably recognize. And if not, hello, I'm KP on certified. Slide on the beat, now the eye, but it finna die. I told my brother I got him, we ride or die. When I'm in the city, they.
I know I had said meditate. Don't meditate on that. Don't meditate on that. That I take it back. As I was listening to it, I was like, and I told them to meditate on this. Don't meditate on that.
Dancing. That's another good thing. That helps your inner child too.
So let's get into the comments before we go to the next question. I'm always listening to motivational stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good. Yeah. His podcast, I always mess up this man's name. So this podcast. I opened Third Eye years ago and had to go back and rescue the inner child to move forward. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. He said I was dancing while listening. Okay, so let's get back into it. Can you share a meditation technique that is effective for inner child healing? I think you kind of said that, like go to YouTube, but get more deep into it.
Yeah, and I'll elaborate on some more of that. So go in when you're meditating and speak to your inner child, like your inner child. So when you imagine, like we'll do something real quick, like close your eyes. And I want you to imagine this little baby that's inside of you. And the little baby, what is it doing? How does it feel?
She's just giggling and smiling.
Oh, I love that. So give that baby a big hug. Wrap your arms around the baby and say that you are so safe and you are so loved.
You are so safe and you are so loved.
You are amazing.
You are amazing.
You have grown into such a wonderful woman.
You have grown into such a wonderful woman.
And I will always love and protect you.
And I will always love and protect you.
Yeah. And just take in 3 deep breaths through your belly. Release. And then just gently open your eyes when you're ready.
I love her. Oh my God.
Oh, well, yeah. You just spoke to your inner child and you
felt so good.
Yeah, that's something you can do.
You felt so good.
You can sit and talk to your inner child for 30, 45 minutes, put some whatever music on, and you can literally sit and talk to your inner child and not have to be like in the zone where you have to clear your mind out.
Right.
You know, so you're healing yourself through that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. Because growing up, I never heard I love you growing up. So to tell myself that, I don't know if your eyes probably was closed too, but I was smiling so hard when I said I love you, because I never heard that growing up. Never ever.
Every morning, go in the mirror, look in the mirror, and tell yourself. And I actually heard this technique today. Don't go straight up in the mirror like this. Go back a little bit and just say, I absolutely love you. If you want to add, whatever you want to say, absolutely love it. Like, I love the heck out of you. And just feel that love. And say that at least 10, 20 times to yourself every single morning. If you do that for 30, 60 days, I know it sounds like a long time, you're going to see a difference. Even after 21 days, you're going to see a difference in how you actually respond to yourself.
Because I'm giving her that love that she didn't have.
Yeah. And anytime you start to talk bad about yourself, stop. Like, literally slap your hand and be like, no, I am not going to teach myself like that anymore. I'm not treating my inner child like that anymore. I mean, we throw down, we're like, oh, I'm so stupid. I just can't believe I did this. Like that, we talk like to ourselves in that tone and tell ourselves that, we're not helping ourselves. We're still putting ourselves down.
See, I speak life into myself every day. I can't say I do that every day, but when that feeling come over me, I do, like, I say it out loud, because it be something in me like, say it. And I say it out loud, but I don't do it every day. Verbal T, yes, that mirror will change your life. Because Verbal T said, yes, mirror work has helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Now y'all got me finna
blemishes or wrinkles or anything coming up, or whatever you don't like on your face. Don't look at that. Just look at yourself as a pure child, and just like you would a child, just tell yourself, "I just love you." Like what, you wanted. Like
what movie that is? Waterboy. Remember Waterboy? I want an episode like that with Waterboy when the coach was like, he was so afraid, and then when he go, he'll picture everybody a baby, and then he'll be like, okay, so yeah. I like that.
Yeah,
you have been positive. I love that. What are some tips to help your inner child find its joy and happiness?
Yeah,
I know looking in the mirror is one of them, but
yeah, looking at that. But pick up a dance, but songs that are so uplifting, that are a little bit elevated from the mood that you're in. So if you're kind of a somber mood, find something that's a little bit more elevated. If you're in a joyful mood, try to find something a little more elevated and just dance. Like if you just sit there and shake. Sometimes I'll just shake all the energies off of me. And then when I stop, I feel so much better. Just dance, sing, getting your voice or that throat chakra going. Sing. It doesn't matter. I don't care how bad, horrible singer you think anybody thinks they are. Just sing and go in the shower, closet, whatever, car, sing. Get that off your voice. Once you start doing that, you'll notice, kind of feel childlike. Get a jump rope, jumping. Anything active wise. Go play. If you played sports as a kid, go play that sport. If you played baseball, basketball, football, go shoot some hoops. Go hit the baseball bat. Go even I would say the driving range if that's something you liked as a kid. Tennis, whatever that is. Find that joy which you liked as a kid. If you like art, creative, get a coloring book and just doodle. Just color. I have a coloring book on my desk that I haven't picked up in a while. I need to. I'll pick it up every once in a while and I'll just start coloring and coloring. And so it brings out that childlike joy inside of me. So think of things that you enjoyed doing as a child until you started getting criticized and said you couldn't do that. If it's going and seeing, like, I used to want acting. I used to love all that. So sometimes I'll just start putting on a production in my head. Yes. Dancing around, singing, acting like a kid, doing things like that will bring out that inner child joy within inside of you.
Yeah.
And it's really simple. 3 things you can do.
I used to like dancing and listening to music and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, do that. Nobody has to see you or know you're doing that. If you're, and you could be a closet singer, dancer, whatever you want. Nobody has to know that you're doing that, but you're still bringing that. And you're raising those vibrations in yourself and getting that energy flowing. And when you're doing that, you're getting the dopamine going and the serotonin, all the things going to where you can't help but be happy after that.
Right. How does generational trauma impact our inner child, and what can we do to address it?
Oh, yeah. Wow. So generational trauma. So look at the patterns, like how our parents were parented and their grandparents were parented. A lot of times those things were passed on. And so we can break those patterns by starting to heal our inner child. For instance, if your parents always said, no, you always listen to me no matter what. And so as a child, it didn't matter what you had to say, or if you disagreed with them, you always had to listen to what they had to say. And a lot of parents, and that was a generational thing that came in from their grandparents and so on and so on and so on. And so we tend to as parents, and I was a very young parent, so I parented like my parents did. And they parented like their parents did. I know the things that if I was a parent right now, I would know where to break that cycle of it. And my kids hopefully do now, because we've had conversations and this was not, I parent you this way. This was probably not the best thing. So it just starts with those conversations, and we're not going back to blame our parents, because what's done is done. They did the best that they could do. Right. We're going to give them credit for they did the best that they can do, no matter the situation. On most situations. So we can break those patterns. And by breaking those patterns, we're starting to heal that inner child. And we're starting to let that child know that it's still loved. And so we break those patterns when we have, even if we don't have children of our own, we're still breaking that energetically through with family members and through things that get passed down. There's things that have been known for ancestral trauma has been passed down through the womb. And this is actually becoming proven studies. Whereas if the mom had some trauma happen to her, and that was stored in her body, and she, when she gave birth, that trauma can be pushed down. So that's things that can be broken too, through different thought patterns. You can actually go back through and rewrite your entire story of your childhood. And that's it's not, so you can really go back and say, the way that you want it to be in your mind. And it's not a delusional, and it's not okaying things that happened. It's forgiving and saying, this no longer owns me. And instead, this story is going to own me. That's healing your inner child and breaking those generational patterns.
I love it. I love it. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get into this song. And today's episode is sponsored by Shiesty Apparel. Make sure you guys follow them on Instagram at shiesty.apparel. The next song we get into is called Hurt. Ain't that about a biscuit, God? And let's get into it.
Been hurt for a minute. Been hurt for a minute. Gotta admit it. They trying to come help out the pain, but they in it. And I bet they start laughing they ass off. If I said I need therapy, I'll get my food on my own like a Cherokee. Ask if I'm okay, not necessarily. Nowadays someone get killed over jealousy. Real people dying in the face stay walking. Couldn't imagine about what's finna happen whenever you started that talking. The evil gon' steady be stalking. Cause they black ain't no flocking. Couldn't give bro a little hug in the coffin. Yo, I look real stupid trying to talk to the coffin. Damn, but I really miss him, and I wish he was here. He was alcoholic, man, I wish he was cured. This could be my last song, I ain't sure. Time be a blessing, so go talk to your mama, tell her you love her, and don't leave her stressed. Might be the last time that you see her, won't be the last time that you meet her. And not all these bad girls, just some cheaters. Go find the right one, don't mistreat her. That's fact. And whenever she leave, or she ain't coming back, she gon' be gone like a ball hit from Derek Jeter. And we heal the pain. So whenever I see it, I turn to a reef, and I ain't scared of gangsters. Bitch, I'm just a jet, I'm a kilometer. He was trying to get high, and then he caught a face shot over a kilometer. Been hurt for a minute, gotta admit it. They tryna come help out the pain, but they ain't. And I bet they start laughing their ass off. If I said I need therapy, I'll get my food on my own like a Cherokee. Ask if I'm okay, not necessarily. Nowadays, someone get killed over jealousy. Been hurt for a minute, gotta admit it. They tryna come help out the pain, but they ain't. And I bet they start laughing their ass off. If I said I need therapy, I'll get my food on my own like a Cherokee. Ask if I'm okay, not necessarily. Nowadays, someone get killed over jealousy. He can get killed over shit that he talking, G.
Yeah. Okay. I should have played that song this episode. Brought my spirit out. I need my spirit to come back up, because I mean, he was telling the truth in the songs. People get killed over jealousy, but golly, shake that off. Okay. What are some examples of generational trauma that might affect our inner child?
Yeah. Kind of the previous example before. If you're, here's really good. So if your parents expected you to have a lot of moms. So a lot of times moms would, I'll say this, your weight, like if they say your child, you're eating too much, you're overweight. So that can go into, that could be something that their parents said, you have to have a certain physical look to look a certain way in order to be attractive to people, which is still a societal thing going on. That can be something that's passed down trauma. That can harm your inner child to make it feel like it's not worthy because based upon the looks, like exterior looks. That's an example. It could be certain as your parent, somebody saying, well, you screwed up in your life, you're never going to amount to anything. I know I'll use myself as an example. When I was 14 or 15, I did something, stupid, silly as a teenager. And I literally had my dad tell me, if you continue doing this, you're never going to amount to anything. Your life is going to be like this. And so I thought, well, that's going to be my life for a while. I got pregnant with my son and very young, at 19, and you screwed your life up. That was inside of my head, even at 19. And I hurt my little inner child from the other trauma things that were said to me as a child. It just adds up. It could be as far like something as simple as a teacher telling you, you should have did better on this test. It's like, well, I didn't do good enough. So I have to continue to do more and more and more and more. So we get on the I'm not good enough train, and we continue to prove ourselves and have to prove ourselves and prove ourselves. So it's not necessarily just parents that say things to you, but generationally, typically that what it is. So we look at that, and a lot of times parents, they portray their own personal insecurities onto their children because they haven't dealt with. And a lot of times it's coming from a loving standpoint of they don't want their child to go through what they went through. You see the parents that are, I don't know, they call them helicopter parents, but the parents that, they were never the head cheerleader or the head football player. So they push their kid to be that person. Or they, the things that they always wanted to, be on the dance team or do all these things. And they push their kids so hard to do that. And when they don't become number one, they make them feel like a failure. Parents can do this with grades too. They can make them, if you don't get straight A's, then you're not worthy of this prize. And so it's things that we do, like if parents do it's not done out of love. They're doing the best they can do. They're things that can be pushed down generationally. And a lot of times that comes from their parents or comes from something that went from there. If their parents didn't give them enough attention, maybe they overly give the child attention to where they're smothered. And that gets pushed down, and their inner child feels like it has to perform and has to take care of something all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just a few examples.
Yeah. How can we set up daily practice to start healing our inner child?
Again, going in and doing that meditation, looking at yourself. I'd say first thing you do when you wake up out of bed, go in and look in the mirror, tell yourself that you love yourself. Start with that. Going in and spending, I spend about 45 minutes to an hour. Actually, I'm very lucky to have the luxury to be able to do that. Some people aren't. But if you can spend 15 minutes a day, just get up 15 minutes early and start journaling. How do I feel today? How does this, like, imagining myself as a child, how does this child feeling today?
Mm-hmm.
And so doing that, and then going into like a 2 or 3 minute meditation like we did earlier, and just saying, I love this inner child. I love you. I love you. I love you. And then following that back up with, what do I need to change in my routines, my behavior, to start implementing the life that I want? So if you're repeating patterns, what can I do to not repeat this pattern today? And take it step by step. Day.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that. What role does self-compassion play in the process of inner child healing?
Wow. So self-compassion is different than self-confidence. So 2 totally different things. We have we have our self-confidence. You think confident people are compassionate people. They're not always compassionate on themselves. Self-compassion is knowing and trusting and accepting you and loving yourself as you completely are, with your flaws, loving your flaws and understanding I have flaws and they make me who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I have flaws and they make me who I am. I'm going to work to fix those flaws, but I'm perfectly okay and loved and accepting myself as I am right now.
Right.
Yeah. That's the self-compassion you have yourself. You make a mistake. That was not a mistake. It's a lesson learned. So when you start looking at mistakes as lessons learned, as opposed to mistake, where we're just like, slap on the wrist, you made a mistake. It's like, no, that's cool. I learned a lesson on that. If it's even something small, like, I'm never going to repeat that again.
Yeah.
That's self-compassion for yourself. Just give yourself grace through the process. It's this child.
Okay. So I done started doing that, because me, myself, like, when things happen, I tell myself, like, I don't look at it in a negative way. I look at it in a positive way, and I be like, that was something that was supposed to happen, but I know not to do it again, and to do this instead. So I definitely have started doing that a lot. I started that last year, doing that, like, looking at everything as a lesson and in a positive way, because I feel like everything happens for a reason. So if that happened, I don't care how small, how big it is, that means I was supposed to go through that. It was supposed to happen.
Yeah. And you're doing the best you could at the situation with the best knowledge that you do. And that's the easiest way for you to learn to forgive yourself, is like, just accept, I made these decisions with the best knowledge that I knew to do it, what to do with. And it's okay, because I'm changing. I'm moving forward and not letting this define who I am anymore.
Right.
That's the biggest key, is not to let that define who you are.
Yep. And that's me. You're going to accept me, and you're going to appreciate me and who I am. Like, I'm not going to change for nobody. Like, I am me and you is you. So,
yeah. You just have to love it. Yeah. Accept yourself.
Yeah. So we're going to do a last minute quick ad commercial, and we'll be right back. Experience top-notch hairstyling wherever you are. Diverse Styles, your go-to traveling stylist based in North Carolina, specializes in braids, sew-ins, plaits, and locks. Follow at Diverse Styles LLC on Instagram and book your appointment today for a fresh and fabulous look. Our last and final question of the evening. How can someone begin to identify and address their inner child wounds if they are new to this concept?
Wow. Yeah. So start looking inside yourself. Find out what you're not happy about within yourself. And then just start literally questioning, where do I think this pattern started? Well, it started when I was 12 and I was doing this. Okay, where did I learn this pattern? Well, how did I get this behavior? What made me feel this way? That's going to be your key to starting the forgiveness portion of it. So when you start forgiving that, then you go back in and you're going to start the healing process through loving your inner child. Like just going back through the things that we talked about before and just loving on that inner child. And it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. People think, oh, well, next day I'm just going to healed. No, this is a process. It could take you 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 10 years. It's your own journey. But just give yourself grace through it. That's the biggest thing on takeaway. Just give yourself some grace through all of this and allow yourself to make mistakes because they're lessons, not mistakes, but lessons. Allow yourself some new lessons through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And learn from those lessons.
Yeah.
And repeat the lessons. Learn from them.
Inside yourself in the areas that you're not in your life that you're not happy with. Is it your career? If it's your, relationships, if it's the way you feel about yourself, if that's where you really need to start. If you do not feel good about yourself, what do you not feel good about? Really sit there and think about that. And what makes you feel that way about yourself? And start working on that.
I love that. Mahogany, you definitely should have been here. This definitely was the episode for you. She just came in, so she's late. But she was like, wow, I'm in a therapy session. I started at 4 years old. So much to unpack, but so helpful. I remember so many things that I totally forgot about. That happened to me. That happened to me. You got to rewatch this episode, Mahogany. You have to, because this was so good. You have to rewatch this. So I'm going to turn over the platform to you and tell them how to reach you and everything else you want them to know.
Yeah. So you can reach me on my website, aliciafarriciell.com. That's ALICIAFARRICIELLI.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, under Alicia Farriciell. Reach out from that too. My email is aliciafarriciell.com. Again, that's ALICIAFARRICIELLI @gmail.com. So feel free to reach out to me. On my website, there is a 1 hour free consultation. Happy to chat with anyone who wants to have a conversation about inner child work. Would love to help you out.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So this has been another great episode. Oh my God. It's like, I love you. My audience love you. Everybody just love you. And I want to say thank you for coming back again. Like,
I love it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I love it. You're welcome. So I want to say again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the shares, the likes, the comments, the interaction. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. So I want to say thank you to you, Alicia, and to my audience. You're welcome.
Listening audience.
We will see you guys on the next episode.
Thank you for tuning in to the Successful Toy Podcast. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. You can also watch us on Facebook Live. If you prefer to listen, find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Listening Notes, Samsung Podcast, Podcast Index, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. See you in the next episode. Bye.